Welcome back, folks, to another exciting edition of Let's Play Crusader Kings 2, The Reapers Do. As always, I am your host, J-Square Jeremy, and I should say the last episode of Crusader Kings 2, The Reapers Do. You see, this is the epilogue episode where we're going to go ahead and fast forward through the centuries here as we continue the campaign of Thor Odinson and the Odinson family. Last we left off, we had managed to make the Holy Roman Empire a tributary to the Midgardian Empire. And at that point, I decided to myself, well, kinda seems like we'll just be rolling along at this point, so why not just go ahead and fast forward here to the end. Now, I know that may disappoint some of you, especially those that were looking forward to an Aztec invasion down the line, but as you will see throughout the course of this episode, there really wasn't much left for us to do until things go awry. And trust me when I say, as always in Crusader Kings 2, things can certainly go awry. Already right now I can see Germany here on the map fully formed, but now separated into individual areas due to a Germanic revolt. The Midgardian Empire continues strong, as we continue to conquer the last remaining bits of the British Isles there, and I guess try to nip at Irish territories here and there. We also start to make inroads into the Rus territories as well, which was kind of interesting here. Now, you'll have to forgive me, as throughout certain moments in this video, unfortunately, the game does not like it if you run it on speed 5 for too long, at least from what I saw. There were significant crashes throughout the course of this speed through here, so I've had to cut together individual pieces of footage in order to make this a seamless transition, or at least as close to it as possible. I'm not really sure why the game decides to crash at specific points. It specifically happens during autosaves, so I assume that the game is going too fast for the autosave to keep up, and the game will just crash and shut down. I don't know if it's due to the mod, I don't know if it's due to the game itself, or a combination of the two, but that was certainly a thing several times over. Which is also the reason why this episode is taking so long to come out. I had intended on releasing it a couple days ago, actually, but the fact that I have to keep my eye on this speed run, more or less, to make sure it doesn't crash, kind of forces me to sit here and watch the video go through until we reach game end. Keep in mind that the game end for Crusader Kings 2 is always going to be the year 1453. That's the end, unless you edit the INI file in Crusader Kings 2, which I have not. So 1453 is the end date. But as you can see right here, we've already lost the Holy Roman Empire as a tributary, but now gained a huge piece of Africa. For some reason. I don't know what Thor was thinking of at the time, trying to go after African territories, but as you can see, we certainly grabbed a huge chunk of it. We're still making our way inroads into the Rus territories as well. We have yet to finish conquering Ireland, which I thought was kind of weird that we went after Africa and not conquer Ireland, although we grabbed the last of the Ulster territories there. We actually have Northern Ireland. It's pretty funny, I thought. Surprisingly enough, the Byzantine Empire was pretty strong there. You forgive the judder as I try and figure things out there. Surprisingly, the Byzantine Empire was pretty strong. It as far as I saw, didn't really collapse like I've seen in so many other playthroughs that we've done. With rebellions here and there, of course, but nothing too crazy. Again, the Holy Roman Empire is dealing with rebellions in and of itself. Germany is now separated by the Empire, which is pretty fun. Midgard continues to grow in Africa. Again, pretty crazy. We got Jarmaland going up there in the Finnish territories there, which I thought was pretty weird, but I accepted it as just something that we were going to allow to happen. And then it's right around this point in time, I think. Late 1170s, I think, that things start to go awry for Midgard. So you can see the Holy Roman Empire separated, and then there you saw it. Thor dies. Thor dies in around the 1174 time period, and now England separated. We saw that right away. We're going to see more splits in the African territories and in the Rus territories. So there you go. There's Rus, turns into Novgorod. We've got a bit of some brown Denmark now formed back again. Unfortunately, Thor does die, and we'll get to that at the very end when we kind of highlight everything, but dies in battle. So that was certainly a thing that could happen. We warned about it several times throughout the course of the video series that even though Thor was immortal, he was susceptible to plots and assassinations and to dying in battle. And in this case, he died in battle. As you can see right now at this point, Norway has now separated from the Empire of Midgard, become its own state. Most of this, from what I saw, was done through less revolting, more the ruler of Midgard at the time grants independence out to ensure that there isn't a revolt in his empire, which, in certain circumstances does make sense. You don't want to waste all your time trying to fight the groups, especially if you're ending up losing. Now, the Mongols here, as I continue to talk over, Mongols arrived about 20 years ago, and they made inroads there into the Arabic territories. Temujin doesn't live for very long, about 20 or so years before he dies in battle, I do believe. So they're not as powerful as they could be, but they made a lot of inroads, especially, I was surprised by this, but into Indian territories as well. And now the Aztecs have landed, and they took over a huge chunk of the Iberian Peninsula. So they kind of skipped over the Isles and focused entirely on the Iberian Peninsula and on the Aquitanian territories near France. So we've got the Mongols and the Aztecs. They arrive about 40 years off of each other in the 13th century. So definitely a bit of an issue for those side forces as they make their way inwards there. The Aztecs don't really do too much from what I can recall. Once they make the inroads into the Iberian territories, eventually they kind of split apart. The Mongols, they make a huge run over in the Arabic territories. Capture Jerusalem at one point, I do believe, as well, which I thought was pretty funny. England has now taken a chunk of Finnish territory as well. Midgard is actually getting stronger. I don't know if you can tell or not, but they're starting to gain some more territory here and there. Aztecs just took a huge chunk of the Holy Roman Empire, but they don't manage to keep it for too long before it kind of splits apart. Plenty of Mongol revolts that happen after Temujin's death. It doesn't really stick around. That's a lie. The empire itself sticks around, but it doesn't really maintain as huge of a force as it could have in the past. There's the Aztec revolt in the Iberian Peninsula, and they kind of split apart and do their own thing. The Iberian territories go independent. Byzantines still going strong. I mean, there are again revolts here and there, but nothing too crazy. The Macedons, they don't last for too long after we stopped playing. They go into an elective succession, I do believe, and that's why you see all these revolts right now at the very end for them. Now for the really bad news. My intention was to, at the very end of this speed through, to showcase the very end of the map. Unfortunately, my attempts to open up the game at specific autosave points have also ended in failure. The game will simply crash every time. So, not going to be able to showcase the endgame map in detail, just from what you see here in this speed through. Now, I will extend the very last few moments of this video so we can kind of highlight the few instances that we can that I remember off the top of my head. But to be honest, I wasn't really memorizing what had happened at the very end of the map. Instead, I was planning on recording it separately. Yay for Crusader Kings 2 and crashing. Hooray. Alright, and here we are, December the 26th, 1452. In 5 days, the game is over. Let's take a look at the map right now and kind of highlight some specific points. First off, Midgard, obviously, still going strong, the Empire of Midgard. It's currently under another Odinson family member. I think it's Thor's great grandson. If I do remember it correctly. It's a direct line. I do remember that. It was a direct line from Thor to this individual here. I don't remember their name off the top of my head, and for that I do apologize. Iberia is a mess. What was once a unified Muslim territory, after the invasion of the Aztecs, they've split apart, going their own separate ways. The Holy Roman Empire, also a mess after the Aztec invasion. Half of it was dominated by the Aztecs. That's why you can see all the different chunks there. Italy. I want to talk a bit about Italy. Midgard took a huge portion of it. You can still see some remnants of the Midgardian territories in Italy, but we did manage to conquer the Papal States, or at least one of the Odinson family members did. Rome was demolished. I think they had a single territory left in Urbino, so there was still, the Pope was still landed in Urbino, but Rome itself had fallen centuries before. Ireland. Let's talk a bit about Ireland right now. Ireland grabbed a huge chunk of the Byzantine Empire, and I don't know why. I didn't get far enough to research the Irish claim there in the Byzantine territories, but you can see it clear as day. Ireland, a huge chunk of the Byzantine territories. I'm still shocked that Midgard never conquered Ireland. Nor did it finish conquering the rest of the British Isles. Wales at one point had been subjugated, but as you can see right now is currently independent. I wish I could show you guys more, but unfortunately I cannot get this damn save to load, so I can't go into detail here and specifics as far as the outcome goes, which is disappointing to say the least. But I had fun playing as the Viking god, Thor. I hope you guys had fun watching. Hey everyone, J2John Jeremy here, and I want to thank you for watching. Check out another video from yours truly, or take a look at the playlist for this series. If you haven't done so already, click on the logo to subscribe and keep track of this channel. Until next time, so long, and take care.